Hello and welcome again. This is the second episode on The Gentleman of the Jungle, a story written by Yamo Kenyatta. In the first episode, we discussed the story. Somewhere towards the end of the story, I said, the man put the fire to hut. It should be corrected. It should be, the man put the hut on fire. I hope you will make that much correction. If you have missed the first episode, you will find the link in the description box and you can watch it. That will be very helpful to understand the story. Before we analyze the story, we must know the story. The Gentleman of the Jungle is told in the form of a fable that we discussed yesterday. But this is more than a fable. This is a political satire. I said I will explain that in the second video. This is the time to explain that. Much before that, if you had missed the story, I would like to brief the story quickly. If you are a new viewer to this episode, you will also follow me better if you know the story. On a torrential rainy day, an elephant made a friendship with a man. The elephant asked a man to keep the trunk inside the hut so that it could save from the rain. The man allowed the elephant to keep the trunk inside the hut. But what happened gradually? The elephant sneaked into the hut and threw the man out. And there was a debate between these two. There was a discussion about the position of the hut. At that point of time, the lion entered. The lion asked what was the matter. So the elephant said, they're only having a little discussion about the position of the hut. Then the elephant said, it should be settled. It should be settled by appointing a commission of inquiry. They will go through the case thoroughly and resolve the dispute. The elephant and man agreed. Man had to agree inevitably because this was a decision made by the king of the jungle. But man was assured that his hut would be returned to him or justice will be given to him. So the commission of inquiry was appointed. Who are the people? Who are the people in the commission of inquiry? It was appointed by the elephant who was the minister in the kingdom or in the jungle. Rhinoceros. Right Honorable Mr. Fox as the chairman of the committee. Right Honorable Mr. Fox, remember that, is the chairman of the committee. Buffalo, leopard, alligator, and so on. These were the members. On looking at the members in the committee, the man asked, is it not necessary or possible to add a man in the committee? But he was told that the man is not capable of or not grown enough to understand the intricacies of the jungle law, the complexities of the jungle law. That's the reason why he's left out. But he was assured that justice will be given to him. His hut would be returned to him naturally because those were the members reputed for giving justice unbiased. They were reputed to give the justice. They have not done any injustice to anybody so far because they were the people chosen from God to give justice. So man had to be quiet because he could not argue further. So the commission of inquiry sat to settle the case. The first person was called was the elephant to take the evidence. Elephant began to give his evidence. But what happened? The elephant said something else in the court or at the commission of inquiry. The elephant said the man had invited him to save the hut. The man invited him into the hut to save it because there was a hurricane. The hut would be blown away by a hurricane otherwise. So the elephant went into the hut occupied the space, undeveloped space in the hut, and held the hut together safely. The elephant justified it was a duty anyone would have done under such circumstances, and he did that duty. That caused some misunderstanding. After the elephant, the man was called. But man was not allowed to speak in length like the elephant. The man began to narrate his story, but the commission of inquiry cut him short. They asked him, or they told him, they knew everything about it already, but they wanted to know from the man that whether the unoccupied space in the hut was occupied by anyone else before the elephant occupied it. That was the question put to him. He was asked to be precise, restrict himself to the point, and answer the question. The man said, no, but. The man said, no, but. At that point of time, the commission of inquiry stopped him and said, that's all. They heard everything from both sides. Now they are, or they were, ready for the judgment. The judgment was given. What was the judgment like? The judgment said, this dispute has arisen due to the backwardness of the man. The elephant did whatever should be done under such circumstances. That's the reason why the hut remains with the elephant. The man is not capable of the expansion act, has to settle to build another hut somewhere. So he was asked to choose a site for himself so that he could build another hut for himself. The man could not argue because he was afraid. All these animals were powerful. They could do anything for him if he refuses to accept the judgment. So he did as they said. He did as they said. He went to another place and built a hut. As soon as he built another hut, rhinoceros, buffalo, other animals kept coming into it and occupying it. He went again to a royal commission, asked for the justice. The same judgment was given. The man was asked to build another hut and leave the hut for that particular animal which occupied it. He built another hut. Third time, animals occupied it. He built another hut. Fourth time, again animals occupied it. The same judgment was given every time. The man now felt that one cannot fool one only one time. One cannot fool one always. One can fool one only one time, but not always. So he went with a plan. He wanted to find solution to this. Because how long he could go on building a hut after a hut and just to leave it for the animals. So he this time built at some far distance, built a bigger and better hut and allowed all the animals to come in. They are going to come, not that he has to allow. The moment they saw the new hut, they began to occupy. Since it was a bigger hut, more and more animals came in and accommodated. When more and more animals came in and accommodated, the man saw a great opportunity. What was happening when all the animals were there inside? They were quarreling for their place, the positions. There was a fight among themselves. They wanted this place or that place, just like that. When it was happening, man seized that opportunity, grabbed that opportunity, and put the hut on fire. And he burnt all the animals, including the jungle lord, the lion. He went on saying, peace is costly, Peace is costly, but worth the expense. And he lived happily thereafter. Dear students, this is the story that we saw yesterday or in the previous episode. Is this story then just a fable? Is there anything more to it? We will have a slideshow and discuss that story, this story in detail, or analyze this story in detail. So, the gentleman of the jungle, the story analysis. As I said in the previous episode, we are going to talk about the author later. Jomo Kenyatta was an African political leader, and he was the first president of Kenya after the freedom. He was a Kikuyu. He belonged to that community. He was one of the earliest and best-known African nationalist leaders. This information is very important for us because to see this story not just as a fable, but it is a political story or a political satire. So what happened in the story that we have already seen? When man grumbled, complained for his hut, he was told that the commission of inquiry will be appointed and look into the matter thoroughly. What is this commission of inquiry? See, this story can be seen in a different way now. Look at this way, look at this story in this way. The man is a symbol of the African. See this story in this way. The man is a symbol of the African. The animals are the symbols of the European colonizers. Where do we have the evidence for all this? Commission of inquiry, imperial commission, imperialism. The colonizers had the power to control the other countries remotely, or they had the informal control over the other countries. That is imperialism. So the animals are the symbols for the European colonizers. You will see Right Honorable Mr. Fox in the story. This abbreviation, Right Honorable, is used as an official title for high governmental officials. So, the Right Honorable Mr. Fox was the chairman of the Commission of Inquiry. These are the things indicating that it is about colonization, it is about Kenya as a colony, man as a victim of that colony, or victim of the colonizers. You will be convinced, if you watch it till the end, you will be convinced how this is done. Kenya was one of the colonies of the Britishers, like many other countries across the world. And more than 90% of the population in Kenya is African. It was under the British rule from 1895 to 1963. It was ruled by Great Britain. Most of the large plantations were owned by the Britishers. How? Just by occupying it. As you see in the story, the man's hut was occupied. Only after many years of a freedom struggle, including violence and bloodshed, did Kenya become an independent nation in 1963. The man's action towards the end to put the hut on fire is a symbolic of Kenya's freedom struggle to get freedom. So it should be seen in that particular way. So the gentleman of the jungle is a political fable in that sense. So Jomo Kenyatta himself says that it can be a political fable. You must see that Kenya, this map suggests that the Europeans came in and occupied these places one after the another. They moved to Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, just like the places. And you can see here, you can see the places here. Equator, Embu, just like that. Understand, occupying one hut another after one hut after another by other animals is nothing but the way they have colonized. So, when you see this story from this point of view, and you will be convinced that this is a story of colonizers, how they came into Africa, how they occupied the land, because they saw great benefits for them. They owned most of the plantations and made these Kenyan people laborers. The owners of the land became the laborers of the land. How is it done? This is all done carefully by a systematic plan. They have created their own laws. That's the reason why the man was told in the story, you are not capable of any expansion yet. You should be under colonizers. You are not capable of expanding yourself. Moreover, he is not well educated enough to understand the jungle laws. This only suggests that the Imperial Commission or the European powers had or made laws to suit their purpose in order to keep the colonies in darkness. You can see the picture that I am going to show you. This was the situation. You can see in the picture. You can see a man with a gun, and in another picture below, you can see two police or two officials keeping all the people under tension because they have, again, guns in their hands. So the European powers, that's the reason why these people could not say anything against the man when he was given a judgment to or in favor of the elephant or asked to build another hut. He could not say anything because he would be exposed to the anger of these animals. When someone has a gun in hand and captive these peoples like that, as you see in this picture, how could you protest? That was the case. So, under such circumstances, man simply followed, obeyed, though he did not want to. But there was a limit to it. The story is also about the rebellion nature of man. How long one could have patience against these people. So in the history you might have come across Mau Mau upspring. People came to protest against the colonizers. So the action of the man towards the end to put the hut on fire is symbolic of the protest or rebellion in nature of these people and their desire to get freedom from the colonizers. So this story should be seen in that particular way. But there is more to it. There is more to this story than just an European powers or just colonizing or the colonizers or Kenya being the colony. there is a theme of greed. The elephant was allowed to put the trunk inside the hut, but it was not satisfied with that. It wanted more. So he sneaked into the hut and threw the man away, occupied the hut. This was the nature of colonizers as well. But you can see also the theme of innocence in this story. The man believed these people innocently. They took the and they took the European powers or colonizers or all the people. Just man is the representative of the African or the Kenyan people, and he believed those people that they would do something better for them, but it did not happen that way. He was fooled. His innocence was capitalized. So they understood these people on their face value. Just by looking at them, they thought they were gentlemen, but they were not the gentlemen at all. The gentlemen of the jungle, the title is ironic. Were those people gentlemen? Gentlemen cannot be selfish. They were governing, they were ruling, they were controlling these people for their selfish motives. So the man understood them wrongly, or he was innocent enough to understand that they all have come up with a plan like that. He did not know probably that they would strip him off. They would strip their lands and they take everything away from them, occupy their lands and make them laborers. So this can be seen in that particular way. There is a greed here. There's innocence of a man. The elephant lying in the story or lying at the court suggests that these people or the animals were corrupt because the other animals were supporting. All the animals came together and saw what was happening when there was a discussion between man and the elephant. But they did not give evidence, witness at all. But they took the side of the elephant. This is also shows there is some amount of corruption there. For all these reasons, at the end, there is a rebel. The rebellion nature of man and the limit to patience is a sin. That's the reason why he came out and found a method. And he put the fire on a heart and burnt all the animals. Thus he took freedom from these animals. So he went on to say, peace is costly but worth the expense. To get freedom and peace, sometimes you require to find the violent ways, or violence was inevitable in order to get peace, in order to take the injustice away from them, or in order to overcome humiliation or slavery that they had. So this can be seen in that particular way. The entire story is analyzed actually very briefly because we can't have a full-length discussion always. So this may be useful then, I believe. You read the story fully if you are the students of first PUC and read the story from this point of view. Even then, if you have any questions, you can leave it in the comment box. And I'm always there to respond to you. I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope you enjoyed the analysis. If any questions you have on this story, you can leave a question in the comment box. We shall meet again in the next episode. See you.